Hey, you guys. It's always my goal when I get on here to provide some type of value, okay? And I have had 3 different conversations in the last week about food failure. And so I wanted to share what I learned on a podcast. And I'm going to put that in the comments where I got the information from. But just talk about food failure for just a few minutes. Because I feel like this is a big thing for women in particular. First of all, food failure, it looks different for each person, but we can all envision what that could look like. It could look like overeating. It could look like emotional eating for the wrong reasons. It could look like a host of different things. So whatever that means to you, what I want to talk about is the fact that failure doesn't mean over. Failure, we need to change the way we look at failure. It has to be part of the process in our relationship with food. So we do have a relationship with food. We need to shake hands with it because we have allowed, and it is kind of natural, that we have allowed a lot of emotions to go along with the decisions we make about food. Here's the thing. What I want to do is categorize what failure is and what it relates to for us. Failure, first of all, is neutral, okay? We're the ones who put the emotions to failure. I'm a bad person. I can't stick to anything. Beating ourselves up. This is really tough, really detrimental, and that's what we need to rein that in. We're never going to stop the messages, but we need to rein it in. We're the ones who put the emotion to it. Failure, we need to embrace it as inevitable. We're going to fail. Okay, it's like saying in raising a child for 18 years that you're never going to have a parenting mistake. It's just not possible. So we need to look at having a fail as part of the day. I mean, come on. Let's give ourselves some grace here. So again, it's inevitable and it's needed. We need this to be part of our food journey, okay? You are going to eat food for the rest of your life. So we need to make friends with our relationship with food. I'm going to say it over and over again. Part of the podcast that I listened to, she said a really great thing. She talked about that failures are the breadcrumbs to success. And so she led us down the breadcrumbs of failure, talking about what to do with the failure. So you overate last night, or had emotional eating because you had a stressful situation. It's time to get curious about what you were feeling when you went for that food. It's time to not curse ourselves and say, screw it, we're done, I'm gonna overeat more, right? Because that's what we do. We're so disgusted with ourselves. But instead, to become curious, okay? And here's where I want to throw in something really important, and that is what God says about our failures, all right? In James chapter 3, verse 2, James is actually talking about the tongue when we stumble with our tongue, but we can apply this to any kind of, or we all stumble in many ways, right? We all have food failures in many different ways. If anyone does not stumble in what he says, okay, he is a perfect man, able to bridle the whole body as well. Here's the point. Perfection is not attainable, okay? Whether in our bodies, in our mouths, perfection is not attainable. So God understands that, and he wants you to understand that and to just get curious about why we made the decision that we did to overeat or emotional eat or beat ourselves up. So I want us to look at, and maybe the word fail, right? And sometimes we say we cheat, but when we fail, maybe that's a trigger. She talks about that on the podcast as well. So maybe we need to name it differently, a setback or a stumbling. Because what do you do when you stumble? You get back up. All right, there's no throwing in the towel. You get back up. So it's how we're looking at failure. It's not even the foods you're choosing. It's about how we look at our stumble or our fail. That mindset that we're just going to keep going. We're not going to throw out all of the good stuff that we've been doing prior to the fail, right? Because maybe you were good all week and then all of a sudden on Thursday, boom, you couldn't take it any longer, okay? So let's just change how we look at food failure, and let's ask God what he thinks about our food failure, all right? And keep on trekking on, all right? We are in this together, and I want you to have a different mindset, a positive mindset about where you're going with your food choices and your relationship with food, okay? God has created us in a way that we need food and we need to move our bodies. And so he's going to provide a way for us to maintain our bodies in a healthy manner. It's just kind of figuring out what's stuck in here that needs to get out so that we can, willpower alone, we know this is not going to do it, okay? So we're going to create walls with the Word of God to help us create good boundaries, good decisions, and when we have a bad decision, we're just gonna be curious about it and ask, well, why was I feeling like that? Why did I make that choice? Why did I do that? And then when we answer those questions, those answers are gonna provide better decision making in the future. So I hope this helps you, and I hope that you have a great food relationship in the future.